Hey guys, what is up? I wanted to come chat with you guys about what I've kind of been up to since vacation. So before vacation, I was in a calorie deficit. So that means I was, my goal was to lose fat. I was eating less calories, doing lots of cardio every single day with the goal of looking and feeling my best, being nice and toned before my Aruba vacation last month. So since being back on track, I guess, at home, one thing that I do after every single time I'm in a calorie deficit, and just as a reminder, being in a calorie deficit is only a temporary thing. You should not be living in a calorie deficit. You should not be living at 1200 calories. It is something that you do for a small amount of time until you reach your goal. And then after that, a lot of people are like, okay, well, what do I do now? If I go back to eating just as I was a couple months ago, I'm going to gain all of the fat back, basically. So that's what a reverse diet is for. And today's video is going to be all about what is a reverse diet, how to reverse diet, how I reverse diet personally, and why. So when I got back from Aruba, my calories were super low. Obviously, when I was on vacation, kind of ate whatever I wanted, did whatever. My workouts were not exactly the same. I did a lot of cardio on vacation just because that's what I like to do. But as soon as I got back from vacation, I dove right back into my strength training split. So if you guys don't know, I practice a 6-day split. So I don't go Monday I do this, Tuesday I do upper body, Wednesday I do lower body. I don't do that. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then repeat, basically. So it's a very unique split. Not a lot of people do it, I guess. So basically I'm strength training the first 5 days, and then the 6th day, so day 6 out of 6 is a cardio and core day. And then after day 6, I just repeat and go back to day 1, if that makes sense. So I basically have 5 strength training days and then a cardio core day, and then I repeat every 6 days. So I don't fully take like a full rest day from the gym. My cardio and core day is kind of like my active rest day, I guess you could say. So yeah, in terms of strength training, I literally jumped right back into my strength training plan and stayed there. So while I'm strength training now, I'm really focusing on progressive overload. While being in a calorie deficit before, it's really hard to push heavy weights as you were when you're eating properly, like the amount of calories that you should, the amount of carbs that you should, because you're kind of low on energy or low on calories, therefore you're lower on energy, so your strength just isn't going to be there. So since coming back from vacation, I'm slowly increasing my calories, which is basically a reverse diet. So my strength is coming back, and during my workouts, I'm really focused on progressive overload. So every single week, I track these in my notes app or on the app that I use for my PT clients called Trainerize. Every single week, I'm looking at, okay, last week I did X amount of weight for X amount of reps. This week we're going to increase the reps, or this week we're going to increase the weight and go for the same amount of reps, something like that. So every single week I'm either increasing the weight that I'm doing each exercise or increasing the reps at that weight for each exercise. So that's how my strength training is working during a reverse diet. And then in terms of cardio, the cardio portion of a reverse diet, I was basically going from like 60 minutes of the stairs and hitting at least 10K steps a day, probably closer to like 15K steps a day, to decreasing my cardio basically by 5 minutes a week. So it's been, when did I get back from Aruba? Like after the first week of October. So it's been like a good 5 weeks, I think. So I've decreased my cardio from being basically 60 minutes of stairs 7 days a week. So I basically decreased my cardio from being 60 minutes of stairs every single day during that last week before vacation. Right now I'm doing 40 minutes on upper body days, 30 minutes on lower body days, and then 55 minutes for my cardio and core day of the week. So that's kind of how it's decreased thus far within these last 5 weeks. I'm gone from 60 minutes and I slowly cut down 5 minutes per session every week about. So during a reverse diet, if you are doing high amounts of cardio, during your reverse diet, you should be decreasing the amount of cardio that you're doing over time, because the whole goal of a reverse diet is basically to get you back to eating your maintenance calories with minimal fat gain. So of course you're going to gain maybe some healthy amount of weight back, but you're going to find where your body is the healthiest, right? So I'm still pretty lean, even though I've gained back about, well, you know, being on vacation, definitely gained a little bit of weight. And then since being back on vacation, I've gained about 6 or 7 pounds in the past 6 weeks total. And personally, like, that's where my body has been very comfortable. Around 124, 123 to 124 is like where the maintenance weight has been for a long time now, probably like a year now. So I'm definitely getting close to my maintenance weight and where my body is healthiest, happiest. And yeah, but the whole point of a reverse diet is basically to slowly increase the calories that you're eating to get you back to maintenance, where you're eating a healthy amount without gaining too much fat. So obviously, since I'm decreasing the amount of cardio I'm doing and increasing the food that I'm eating, I am going to gain a little bit of weight back, but that is the healthy weight where I'm able to work out, I'm able to, you know, be productive at work, not be thinking about food, not be starving all the time, and my workouts are actually good. So that's kind of the goal of a reverse diet. And yeah, so to sum up how my workouts have changed during this reverse diet compared to like the week before vacation, where I was doing lots of cardio, strength training was there, but wasn't that great, honestly. But now my strength is definitely back. I'm focusing on progressive overload and decreasing cardio. So that's like the first half of a reverse diet. That's just like one portion, the exercise portion. And then the other portion of the reverse diet is your calories, right? So I'm slowly getting back to maintenance calories. And honestly, I don't even know where that is. We're gonna find out because when you go through cut and bulk cycles, depending on how much muscle you have, your maintenance calories are going to change. So somebody who's like 125 pounds of muscle and is super lean, their maintenance calories are going to be higher than somebody who's petite with less amount of muscle but also weighs 125, right? Because muscle needs more calories, needs more protein, needs more of your macros and micros in order to sustain itself. So just because that's kind of one of my pet peeves as well, clients focus so much on the scale when they don't even realize like how much their muscle actually matters. So you being 125, or your goal weight is 125, but maybe in order to be 125 you'd have to lose muscle mass. That would actually hurt your metabolism and make you look more skinny fat at the end of the day if you're just focusing on that number 120, 125, but you're not actually looking at yourself in the mirror and looking at your body composition and understanding your body composition. Maybe how you actually look at 135 is how you think that you're going to look at 125, but because you have more muscle mass on you at 135, A, you're able to eat more, B, you look more toned and stronger and leaner because that 10 pounds of muscle is what's making you look leaner. It's what's making you look the way that you think that you're going to look at 125, whereas the more muscle you have, the leaner you look. So just a little random tidbit there, I guess. Don't focus on the scale as much. So I don't even remember what I was saying because I just got lost on that tangent. But back to calories and how you work your calories through a reverse diet. So I don't even remember what my maintenance calories were beforehand. It changes depending on, did I just go through a muscle building phase or did I just get out of a fat loss phase? So we're going to be finding my new maintenance calories together. Basically every single week, how I'm doing that is I'm increasing 50 to 100 calories to my MyFitnessPal per week. So right now I'm eating at about 1,500 calories. So I started at 1,200 calories, and in the past 5 weeks I've gone up 300 calories. So it's like super slow increments. So every single week I'm able to see like, okay, I'm not gaining weight. I just added 50 calories. Let's add another 50 calories to which doesn't sound like a lot, and it's really not, but personally, if you know me, if you've ever worked with me as a client, you know that slow progress is the best progress. And I'm the type of person where I'm super methodical about what I do for myself and my clients. So focusing on like those 50 to 100 calories, just that little change, you are able to see progress if you're doing it correctly. And that goes for being in a cut, right? So say you're eating at 1,500 calories, you want to lose a little bit of weight. If you're truly tracking your calories and being very honest with yourself, then, decreasing down to 1,450, you will start to see some progress. And then same thing very, very slow progress, but you will see some progress. And then also increasing 50 calories to my calorie budget. So maybe next week I'm either going to increase to 1550 or 1600 calories, which again is not a lot. My maintenance hopefully is way past that, but we'll see. So each week I'm basically adding those 50 to 100 calories, weighing myself throughout this process. Of course, gaining some healthy weight back, that's totally fine. We're not meant to be at our leanest self throughout our whole entire life. You know, everybody's leanest version of themselves looks different. So for me personally, I'm okay with gaining a little bit of healthy fat back if that's going to boost my workouts and hopefully the weight that I'm getting back is muscle rather than fat. So I don't even really pay too much attention to the scale, because week to week I know that I'm going to be gaining a little bit of weight. It's going to be a mix of fat and muscle, but hopefully if you're eating proper nutrition, focusing on high protein, then the weight that you're getting back will hopefully become muscle, especially as you incorporate progressive overload more and more strategically throughout this reverse diet plan. But yeah, I guess long story short, in terms of calories during a reverse diet, you add 50 to 100 per week. So as I mentioned, the past 5 weeks, I've added only 300 calories, I think, and my weight hasn't changed. And I think my weight's only fluctuated like plus or minus 2 pounds, depending on the day. So I'm consistently weighing in at like 124 now, which is about where my maintenance is, like 123, 124, and I still look pretty lean, at least in my opinion. But yeah, so the plan going forward is to slowly keep increasing the calories by 50 to 100 per week, and I'll continue to weigh myself to really make sure that I'm not adding too many calories too quickly, because obviously, say if I went right from eating 1200 calories to 2000 calories, that's a pretty big jump, and it doesn't give your body time to adjust and to use those calories properly. So if you just eat an extra 800 calories a day, then, you know, week after week after week doing those extra calories are going to probably be turned into fat, rather than if you give your body just like 50 extra calories a week and you're progressive overloading at the gym, you're doing things really strategically. Hopefully those 50 calories, if you're eating a good, healthy, high protein diet, those calories are going to contribute to muscle growth. So that's where you're hopefully going to see the scale changes, and obviously it's increasing as you're eating more, doing less cardio. Hopefully the calories that you're eating, as long as you're eating a high protein diet, are being exchanged for muscle. So that's kind of the whole goal. And then for me personally, once I get to like a healthy calorie amount for me, where I'm not hungry all the time, where my workouts are better, my strength is better, typically every year I'll do like a bulking phase. So I don't do like dirty bulks. I do very clean, very similar methodical bulks. So depending on kind of where my vacations are next year, I have some things I think in the works for like early next year. So depending on that timeline, I'm not sure. I plan on increasing my calories through the new year and doing the same thing at the gym, decreasing cardio, increasing the weights at the gym, and increasing my calories until I just feel comfortable and like good with how my body looks, how my workouts are going, and you can kind of stop wherever you feel, you know, your best, where you feel like you're back at maintenance, you still look good, you still feel good. And then depending on my vacation timeline, I might even keep adding calories past maintenance. And this kind of just depends on, you know, how do I want to look on vacation. I think it's going to be like a tropical vacation. So obviously I'm going to be in a bikini. I might do a cut before that, and I might not go through as much of a bulk as I normally would, just depending on the timeline for things. So yeah, we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. I definitely want to get back to maintenance calories, but I might even push past maintenance calories and have that goal of really just packing on as much muscle as I can for the winter before I eventually do another cut again. And that's personally just how I like to do things. Some people stay at maintenance the whole entire time, because they're happy with the amount of muscle that they've put on, and you know, they're happy with their body composition. And don't get me wrong, I totally am, but I really like doing things strategically. So when you do, you know, I wouldn't even call them like cut or bulk cycles anymore. So in order to keep my metabolism healthy and to see the most progress at the gym and in my physique, I either go through phases of eating towards maintenance calories and building up strength and building up muscle at the gym, and then say like for 3 to 4 months I might slowly drop my calories, slowly increase cardio to shed some fat, so then I can see the amount of muscle that I've built, you know, 6 months prior. It allows you to see progress a lot more efficiently, whereas if you're trying to body recomp, you're slowly building muscle while really slowly losing fat, so you're less able to see like the changes in your body, I would say. Whereas if you know, build a lot of muscle, shed fat, build muscle, shed fat, every time you do that, you can look at your progress pictures at very strategic points and say like, okay, I weighed this much at the height of my high calories and this is how I looked, and then once I lowered my calories, dropped some fat, I'm able to see the muscle that I've built while I was building muscle, if that even makes sense. I don't even know how to like say it any better, but that's just personally what I like to do. I like to be building muscle, losing fat, building muscle, losing fat, because I can see the changes the best. And also I like having a goal that I'm working towards. So I don't really like when people go back and forth being like, oh, like I want to build muscle and like look really good and toned and like strong, and then, you know, the next day they're like, well, I want to lose 20 pounds. So I think it's good to have a goal of either doing one or the other, because A, you're able to stick with it so much more efficiently. B, you're able to actually see those changes. So from, you know, 2 months ago to now, how I was eating, how I was strength training and doing cardio at the gym, where did that get me? You know, you're really able to see this clear timeline. And then from here, this point, you can say 2 months down the line, now we're gonna, you know, build some muscle, decrease the cardio, and you're able to see how this 2 months timeline changed your physique, basically. So that's why I do this. That's why I do this whole entire cycle, basically. You don't have to. Personally, it works for me. I'm very goal oriented, so I like having, you know, by this date I want to hopefully build X amount of muscle or hopefully lose X amount of fat. I like having those specific goals that I can break down, you know, every few months. And then also at the end of the day, that's what keeps your metabolism healthy. And then if you're constantly in a calorie deficit, you have hurt your metabolism beyond the point of repair sometimes. So a lot of clients will get frustrated. They're like, oh, I haven't been eating, you know, I've been eating 1,200 calories for the past 6 months and I'm not seeing any weight loss. That's why you're not seeing any weight loss, because your metabolism has basically crashed to the point where, okay, you're saying to itself, okay, we only ate 1,200 calories, so, you know, that's our body's new maintenance. Whereas if you are constantly eating at maintenance or, you know, increasing your calories to build muscle, and then when you want to lose fat, you're so strategically able to do so. So that's why I also do this. Say I have a goal of going on vacation in March and I want to lose, you know, 10 pounds of fat, because I'm building muscle November through, let's say, January. Then January through March I can focus on losing fat and see a good amount of change through that. So doing this, you know, not necessarily, I wouldn't even call them cut and bulk cycles because that gets like a bad reputation, but I would just say like having a goal of building muscle and then losing fat, building muscle, losing fat, every like 3 to 6 months, changing it up. So basically for about half of the year, I'll focus on building muscle, and then the other half of the year, I'll either be at maintenance or losing fat. And so I'll fluctuate through those to keep my metabolism super healthy. And so when I want to go on vacation, I'm able to give myself 2 to 3 months to go through a fat loss phase and a successful fat loss phase too. Whereas if you're, you know, eating 1,200 calories and you're kind of just been there for a while, and then you want to go on vacation in, you know, 2 months, you can't really decrease any more calories than that. And you also, it's very hard to be doing lots of cardio at 1,200 calories. So if you're going back and forth between muscle building phases and fat loss phases every like 4 to 6 months, change up your goal. For me personally, that's how I've seen the most progress in my physique. And also like I said, if I want to go on vacation in March, I know that I have to start a fat loss phase like in January, if not earlier, in order to be where I want to be. And then after that vacation in March, I'll come back and probably build a little bit of muscle, get back to maintenance, maybe want to go on vacation again in October. 6 months later, that gives me time to build a little bit of muscle, get back up to maintenance, and then a couple months before September, I'll decrease the calories again, increase the cardio, go through a little fat loss phase. And so through that, it just strategically kind of allows you to do things very methodically, and it keeps your metabolism healthy, right? So a lot of clients I see get stuck at eating 1,200 calories and then wonder why they can't lose weight. They want to go on vacation next month, but you know, as a personal trainer, I would never, ever let somebody eat less than 1,200 calories. I don't think that that's healthy at all. That's already super low. So one major tip that I have for you guys, I guess, would be to trust the process. Don't rely too much on the scale. Don't rely too much on, you know, the calorie count for you is so specific. One thing that's going to really help you if you're looking to go into a reverse diet and, you know, build your body back up to maintenance, maybe build a little bit of muscle, is stop relying on the scale so much. Yes, the scale is a tool, but the best tool for measuring your progress is taking progress photos and actually looking at your physique and comparing the pictures 6 months ago when you started your muscle building phase to now, or, you know, now to 2 months down the line when you're in a fat loss phase for these 2 months. Compare how your body looked before and after. That's like your best tool during a reverse diet. Do not be afraid to eat more and ditch the scale. Like, ditch the scale, honestly, especially if that's what's holding you back from wanting to build muscle. And if you're stuck in a phase of eating at low calories, that is so not healthy for anybody. So ditch the scale. Don't be afraid to increase your calories. You will thank yourself so much. The more muscle you put on, the easier it is to lose fat. The more muscle you have, your body at baseline is burning more calories, right? So if you gain 10 pounds of muscle, say, like, let's say just for the example purpose, that means that the scale went up 10 pounds. So you might freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I just gained 10 pounds. But if that's 10 pounds of muscle, you're going to look so much better, first of all, than you did before. And second of all, that 10 pounds of muscle is going to help you lose 10 pounds of fat, right? So your body composition can change drastically. So you gain 10 pounds of muscle and now you lose 10 pounds of fat. Those 10 pounds cancel each other out. So based on that scale, nothing's changed, right? But if you look at your body, so much has probably changed. If you gain 5 to 10 pounds of muscle and then lose 5 to 10 pounds of fat, the weight didn't change, but you look completely different. So that's definitely, I guess, like the lesson, kind of why I reverse diet and why I recommend to all my clients to do so. Should not be eating on a calorie deficit for longer than like a few months at a time. And if you are, then you need to change that. Stop being afraid to eat more, stop being afraid to lift heavy, and ditch the scale. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll be doing for the next few months. Let's see where my maintenance calories are. I plan on building some muscle this winter and then eventually going through another fat loss phase. That's what I like to do. I kind of feel like I rambled through that, but let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.